Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HarnessRacing.com show presented by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. We are live from Oak Grove Racing and Gaming in Oak Grove, Kentucky. I'm your host, Wendy Ross. Happy to be joined back with you again for this season as we kick off another year of HarnessRacing.com. And I'm also so happy and proud to welcome in my co-host and dear friend, Roy Dinges, all the way from Texas. Roy, so nice to have you with us here in Oak Grove.
It's great to be here. Huge day of racing, and just honored to I get to do this with an old friend.
Well, you know, I said when we're gonna be down in Kentucky, right? And we want to do something cool and something different. And I'm so glad you've got a lot going on right now, but we're so glad that you could fit us into your schedule and be here as a new role for you as an analyst and a co-host.
Well, it's good to be here. A lot going on with social media, and venturing into a new world here.
Well, a new world being on TV, being on air here, but certainly not in harness racing, as you've grown up in it and been such a big part now. As we talk about you being busy the last 3 or 4 years, you know, speaking of social media, you're a social media influencer for those that don't know, but those that are familiar with harness racing, you're going to know who Roy is for sure. You've been an influencer for the world of rodeo, the Ariat brand, harness racing, and now, of course, that new podcast, Under the Lights, with Roy and Ashley, that you're a co-host along with Tim Tetrick's wife, Ashley Tetrick. But to say the least, life's been a little wild for you, right? But it always looks like you're having fun.
Always having fun. Always want to go. When you get paid to travel and you get to do amazing things, I mean, how can you not like it? Yeah. It's just crazy. And then Ash asked me to be on the podcast, and we're having a great time. We're trying to do that crossover between rodeo and harness racing.
You know, it's so cool. I know that I'm blessed to live a really cool life, but looking at you, you know, it's always cool to be able to do what we love, which is horses, harness racing, and be able to help reach out, to put harness racing in front of new eyes, which we really love to do.
For sure. And harness racing is a love of mine. I grew up in the sport, and I want the world to see it. Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about you've been everywhere, you've been doing a lot of work there in the rodeo world, but heck, you're a longtime horseman. You've trained, you've driven, you've owned, you've been a caretaker. It's about from stall cleaning to driving horses out on the track. Now, we know you've come to really love that rodeo life, but let me tell you, what's still number one for you, harness racing, or you still love the rodeo, as you have ridden bulls in the past as well?
I have ridden bulls for many years, but harness racing, grew up in the sport, and it is my number one go-to. Like, I still, even though I'm out of it, I still watch every single big race there is.
Probably nothing for you to be, whether you're in Texas at the FFA or whatever state you seem to be in, and at the time, you still always get on the USTA, right? Like, hey, let's look up the results from Friday or Saturday night, right?
All the time. It's always in the back of my mind, and first chance I get, I'm getting on there and following it.
Now, interesting story. I think I've always wanted to know, and I kind of know because you and I have been such good friends, but you're like we said, you're a social media influencer. Now, going from the life you had to getting into being a social media influencer, tell us kind of how that happened and what made you say, this is something I want to be a part of.
Well, it's funny because I was in Florida training horses, and my friend Nick Luciano, who's big in the social media world, he said, hey, move to Texas and help with the merch. And I'm like, okay, merch. I didn't know TikTok well. Anyway, moved in. We started the Trotter House, and I was just surrounded, right, immersion. Mm-hmm. And I said, I might as well join you. So that's when it took off. And now there's 4 of us. We have a total of like 14 million followers.
Now, when we did, of course, we went back talking about our collaboration with you and the Trotter House crew was back at the Meadowlands there about four years ago now. That was something we really wanted to be a part of. And you talk about Nick Luciano. At that time, he was the most watched cowboy on TikTok. Does he still have that clout?
He does have that clout. He has the 4th most liked TikTok in the world. Okay. So, I mean, that stands for something.
It certainly does. And to talk with Nick, if you ever want to know about social media and what to do, what not to do, and how to do it, Nick's your guy. So always, and get on, follow Roy, Trotter House, Nick. They just know all about it, and they just really give you a great look into that cowboy lifestyle. Now, the point there, when everyone says, what was the point about bringing harness racing to you guys to the Meadowlands? It was about bringing you to harness racing to new eyes. That's what that collab was about.
Yeah, absolutely. We need exposure, and that's what Trotter House really does. They lean into stories, have fun, and I think we got over 8 million views, and our DMs were blowing up. We did the celebrity race, and people tuning in from Saskatchewan, all across the country, even Mexico, Brazil. just to see us do the celebrity race.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's about, right? Just doing cool things like that where you don't even realize the reach that you had. And we were so glad to be able to do that, and we're so glad to have you with us today. Now, let's see. We're going to have a question of the day. We're going to have some guests on the show today, of course. Question of the day, and I'm going to ask you first, and you can ask me. Favorite country singer, because we're in the country vibe. We're down here. We're in Kentucky. We got Texas. A guy visited us. He's from Pennsylvania. Don't let him fool you. But he's from Texas now. Favorite country singer. I already know the answer to this. And favorite country song.
My favorite, George Strait. He's the king, and he's from Texas. And favorite song, The Cowboy Rides Away.
I couldn't agree more on both of those. For me, I think I'm definitely going to aim one country singer. I'm old country like you. Tracy Lawrence, Gary Allan. Of course, The King is great. Favorite country song for me, and we talked about this before we went on, if anyone agrees, Much Too Young, we feeling this damn old. And I certainly know, can we say damn? I think we can, yeah, right? It's a part of the song. But anyways, yeah, that song, when it always comes on, I don't care where you are, you're turning it up.
Turning it up.
Well, let's say, as we said, you went from influencer, but hey, now we've reeled you into being an analyst. So like we said, we're so glad to have you. Let's get on with it here for today's show. We're going to be joined by the 2025 Dan Patch Driver of the Year, Jason Bartlett. Jason Bartlett, wow, what can you say, right? He's just been on fire these last 2 years. Today, he's got a lot of drives in today, but of course highlighted by the 2-1 morning line favorite Spencer Hanover in that $500,000 Oak Grove Trotting Derby for the Colts here. We're going to have the trainer of endurance, Chris Beaver. This guy knows no stranger to having some nice trotters under his belt. He's got a nice one by the name of Endurance for today. Oak Grove's own racing manager, the beautiful Cara Collins, is going to be joining us here shortly. And how about USTA's Cheyenne Christman, right? She's up and coming, got some strategic wagering things that she's been doing. So we're going to have her on, help us pick through some winners later and get through this late pick 4 ticket and race starting in race 8. So we're going to be moving along. Let's talk about Oak Grove, though, quickly, the racetrack here. Roy, you've spent way more time here. It's my first time being here at Oak Grove. So I'm going to ask you to kind of lean in here and give us some information. Oak Grove, which opened in 2019, was their first meet, contributing to the success. Let's talk about Kentucky breeding and the program, how much it's grown. Oak Grove being a part of that.
Oak Grove is a big part of that. You see the influx of trainers and owners and horses coming in here, and it's a testament to what they've done and the money that they've put out. I've raced here. The track is excellent. You talk about Southern hospitality, this is it.
When we talk about you being here, of course, your brother Tony, who I'm looking at the trainer results for the meet, he's second right there behind a guy named Ron Burke. Nothing to slouch out there. So happy for Tony and all the success he's had. Now, you said you've trained here, you drove here. Tell us a little bit about what the track's like out there and the surface and how it's like to drive out there.
When I was here, the surface was perfect, had a nice cushion on it, and it was fast. So the track crew definitely knows what they're doing, and I imagine today it is going to be lightning fast.
I'm sure it is. We got a lot of nice horses, and what a great card they have coming our way here for this Saturday afternoon. Now, let's talk about the team and I. We always do our Top Contender series featuring the 3-year-olds, and a lot of them, a few that we got to touch base on this past spring, are in here today, and they were ready. And it was always the question is, are they going to have them ready to be ready for the May date, right? With, everyone's aiming for that second Saturday in August, but it seems that a lot of the guys have had them ready, and we see a lot of nice colts and fillies already stepping up.
They are, and I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, it is a little early, but $500,000 on the line, you have to be ready to go into the ring, right?
Yeah, and I think that's what it was when we talked to some of the trainers saying unlikely for them to have their horses ready this early. They said, Wendy, there's $500,000 on the line. It's a long season. We're not going to pass up that type of money, and I think that's why we saw a lot of them being ready. But let's talk about Oak Grove. Hats off to them for this is the first year they've done these derbies, putting up having the guts to say, hey, we're going to try to have these type of races this early in May. Getting the entrance that they did. They had 3 eliminations. And like I said, hats off to them. These are shaped up to be some really great races.
It is. And if you look at the program, we have Endurance and Spencer Hanover, and just an incredible field of 3-year-old trotters today. And if this is a prelude of what's to come in August, when we have, Apex and Diabolic Hill, it's going to be all out,
And I know, and that's one thing about this group of 3-year-olds. We always say we got nice ones, but these ones we're going to see today. But I think this group of 3-year-old trotting colts is going to be super highlighted by a couple that are racing in these Oak Grove Derby here today. But yeah, I think overall, when you talk about Apex, Diabolic Hill, Ardon for Megan Scran just won last night as well. It's going to be a really good group. But let's talk about standouts in the elimination for me were Endurance and Spencer Hanover for the Colts, Naked and Famous and Custom for the Phillies. Where do you think you liked when it came to those eliminations?
I'm with you. Let's start with the Phillies. For me, Naked and Famous, that was just a knockout punch. I wasn't ready for that. I don't think the harness racing world was ready for that. We know she had talent and speed, and we've seen it then. So let's see how that carries over to today. And then Endurance, you talk about class from last year, and now first start, he was prepped right, and first start, he made it look easy.
He certainly did. And interesting, we're going to talk to trainer Chris Beaver, who I see him standing by over there to our left. So we're going to be excited to have Chris on here in just a couple minutes. But it was an open draw. I think what the open draw, even though what helped about the eliminations, open draw. So I think it helped a few. It hurt a few there, Roy. Let's take a look at the graphic. The Colts led by the favorite, Spencer Hanover for Bartlett and Melander here. The two other elimination winners, Endurance and Silverstein, drawing the 6 and 9 here, though, in the final. Roy, what do you think, as we said after the eliminations last week, I think it's going to be, as far as the posts are going to help and hurt a couple there. It's Endurance for you, though. It
is Endurance for me. I mean, he's got tactical speed. He can leave. There's a couple in there that can leave. But to me, he's just he's my favorite. He's the class of the field, I think. Not to take anything away from everybody else, but he's just something we need. And Roy, we know you're a loyal guy. We know you and Chris are friends, so we know that's where you're going to lead. But it's going to be Endurance for me as well. As far as Spencer Hanover, I know some are saying he got into a little bit of a lighter elimination, but also I think like Melander's just having their horses tight here. And you have to think, how tight are these horses coming into this type of race? I think we're going to see him get better and better this week. And so for Endurance for me, but also keep your eye on Silverstein. I love this little colt. Even from post 9, picks up the new driver of Scotty Z here. When Scotty Z, he puts the money man up, even from post 9, the colt can leave the gate. Don't leave him off. He's one to consider for me as well. We're going to keep it rolling on to the Fillies. We're going to take a look now at the race here, led by the rail. Again, an elimination winner, Naked and Famous for Todd McCarthy and Noel Daly. Talk about top contenders. This filly wasn't even on our radar. Either was Custom, just totally took the world by storm. Wow, turned a lot of heads, Roy, and I think that, Custom, it didn't have the easiest path, but she got to the winner's circle as well for Bartlett. Post 6, I think, is going to make her work for it this week. Also, don't forget, Set Your Sights High from post 8 for Melander. But this filly is very capable of well. How do you think these fillies are going to shake out after the draw? After the draw, Custom, you can't take anything away from her. I mean, she's got ones, right down the page. Naked and Famous, I mean, does she cut it again? Bartlett's going to be leaving, I would guess, with the 6 just to get in position. So how does it shape out? I mean, is it a trip thing, or is Todd going to go down the road? Well, one thing, we can sit here and talk about the race all we want, but we're talking about 3-year-old trotting fillies, right? And it's only May. It's a warm day here. It's been pretty consistent weather-wise, so we're going to have to see how these fillies have handled their week since the elimination and come back. So we'll have to see it. You always got to worry about that as well, no matter what the draw is. But, hey, we're flying through things. We hope you're having a good time. We hope you're enjoying it. But stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back with Oak Grove's Cara Collins to talk about what's in store at the track today.
The record-setting 2025 mixed sale from the Standardbred Horse Sales Company totaled nearly $38.6 million, with an average exceeding $55,000, including the first ever $1 million weanling and first Standardbred sale to sell 4 $1 million horses. The 2026 sale is November 2nd through the 6th. Check out theblackbook.com for all the details.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 outstanding stallions, including Metro-based champion Captain's Quarters, who's new in 2026. Beach Class, winner of the Meadowlands Pace and the Last Great Son of Some Beach Somewhere, his first yearling crop sells in 2026. Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner and Meadowlands Pace champion, whose first crop sells in 2026. The Great McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and 2-time O'Brien Award winner Tattoo Artist, a winner on every size track with many stakes and track records. Also standing, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
The starting gate is in motion. out.
Change the game for the better. The best place to buy and sell horses. I've had great success. Indispensable. Since holding their first sale in 2001, OnGate.com has become harness racing's leading marketplace with over 13,500 registered users buying and selling racehorses and bloodstock through daily online auctions. Browse listings for free and buy your next racehorse at OnGate.com. OnGate, we've changed the way the business works.
The HarnessRacing.com show is presented by the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. The Harrisburg sale is November 2nd through the 6th. There is still time to enter the mixed sale. Visit theblackbook.com for all the details. The HarnessRacing.com show is presented in part by the Hambletonian Society. The 2026 Grade 1 Hambletonian and Hambletonian Oaks come your way Saturday, August 8th at the Meadowlands. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Wendy Ross, Roy Dingus, now joined by trainer Chris Beaver. We did key up Cara Collins. This certainly isn't Cara Collins, but we're going to have Cara on here. But we're joined by trainer Chris Beaver. Now, how about you two? We've got two guys smiling next to me, right? Because these two are just old friends. And I didn't know if, Chris, you heard earlier before you came on. I know you were standing over there. Roy's going endurance all day. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you.
Yeah, Roy used to work for me years ago before he started doing this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when he was, just training horses and in harness racing, but now, hey, he's big time, Chris. I'm so glad that we're be able to hang with him here today, right? And I know, like you said, you guys are such good old friends, and it's got to feel like a little bit of a full circle moment, especially for you, Roy, to be here, because you got to be easy on him now. This is his first role as an analyst, right? So he's a little nervous, right? Are you nervous today?
I'm nervous, but more about the race,
Yeah, right.
So Chris is actually, I worked for him in 2021, and he actually allowed me to travel to Texas when I was working for him. And then it came to a point, he says, okay, you got to make a choice. And then I went to Texas, and he's been supportive ever since. And endurance, my sentimental choice, and I think he just stands out.
And I think, Chris, you've been so successful with the trotters, right? We know you've had so many nice ones over the years. Now, catching up with you back down there in Florida in April, you said, Wendy, this is the kind of goal you wait your whole life now. And I felt like you've had a lot of once-in-a-lifetime horses. So what does that mean, how much high hopes you have for endurance?
I've had a lot of good horses, horses that made $1 million, but never one that I felt could be top of his class, at least. When you throw everything in together, this horse, he does seem like the best horse I ever trained. Let's hope it keeps going. Now,
when we talk about last year, of course, his Breeders' Crown was super in the elimination, didn't get to race in the final. I know that was so disappointing for you. And but to think that he came back, you said he wintered well. You got to be thinking he's great coming into here for his 3-year-old's campaign.
Yeah, he's done everything right along the way. We were worried. We put him away he had a bruised coffin bone in the Breeders' Crown last year, so I ended up scratching him and put him away, and we didn't know how fast he would come back this winter, but everything's been absolutely perfect so far. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here, but we'd be waiting for later on, but it's been the horse never disappoints, really.
No, and I know you're happy to be here, but no surprise. I feel like the colt stood out last year among the 2-year-olds, so no surprise to think that he's going to come back. Now, tell us a little bit of how he wintered. Seeing him here, he's actually on the cover of the program here from his win last week. He looks super. He's just a nice, big, strong-looking colt.
Yeah, this horse has always loved this track. This is where he started out last year, and then the final of the Sire Stakes here, he set the track record for 2-year-olds. Last week, first start, he sets the track record for 3-year-olds. So, I had trained him down to 55 in Florida before we even qualified him. I told Andrew, let's go enough. We don't have to worry about trying to get another qualifier in when we get north. I've always had faith the horse can get conditioned very easily. He won that qualifier in 53 and 4. I trained him once in 3 weeks when he came home. There he went.
One thing about it too, Roy, and both of you know, as much as you could spend on horses, $14,000 purchase. This is what dreams are made of.
Oh yeah. Well, I make a lot of purchases around 14,000, 10,000, 20. They don't usually.
I like your style. I like your style.
But we do come up with a lot of good horses doing that. But you also have to recognize that there's a lot you never see too. They just don't pan out. But when you get one like this, it's, that's what you're looking for.
And you say what a nice group of owners you got that go in on this colt, right? You got a nice group of owners in general, but this group is a really cool, and they're so excited about him.
Oh yeah, it's the best horse any of them ever had, and I went and bought him on my own. He was one of those kind of purchases I make where I like everything about it, and the price was right, and I had him sold to those guys that called, and they, in a few minutes he was sold out, other than my part, so it's those guys are a lot of fun to own horses with. Last year when we scratched him from the Breeders' Crown, a lot of people would give me a bad time or whatever if it was their horse, but they were fantastic. Not a bad word to say to me about it.
Roy, that makes things a lot easier, right? When you got good owners that support you, because we know horses come first.
Absolutely, and I think it's a testament to Chris that he said, hey, I'm not going to do this to this horse, and he took him out, and we were disappointed not to see him race, but you did the right thing, and to have owners like that, it's another big testament.
Chris, we got to get down to business. Take us through that last week's elimination and kind of what your thoughts were during the race. I did get to catch up with driver Andy McCarthy up there at Yonkers last week, so he kind of weighed in a little bit, but tell us kind of what your thoughts during the race and how he came out of it.
Well, the one horse really that I was pretty scared of was Big Ranger, because he hadn't really been tested. Every race he's won, he's done it so easily. When he pulled him out of the hole, and Andrew told me when he pulled him out, and it looked this way, he didn't really go right away. Maybe the speed was just so intense for a minute, but he said when he took off, he just went.
And that's what Andy told me last week, Yonkers. He said Wendy's kind of like a minute, he was just like, whoa, what's happening here? But he said when he hit that gear, it almost like took him sideways a little bit because the colt just like come out of gear, just hit that next step so fast.
Yeah.
Now, you've drawn the 6 in the final. It was an open draw, as we've talked about already. What do you think about post 6 going in against this group today?
Well, it's a 5/8. I didn't like to, see one trainer own the 1 and the 2 hole. I don't really like that, in an open, with my horse in the 6. But, he's shown he can do whatever he needs to. If he needs to leave, whatever Andrew decides to do, he can do with this horse.
Roy? Any?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you don't want to see an entry inside of you, but the tactical speed, and I don't think they're going to fight it out with him for sure.
Now, of course, you got a lot of ones on his line there, so I'm going to think that the name of the game plan is going to be to go forward today, right? You got to be in it to win it.
I'm not telling him what to do.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do. Let's talk about the tough group of colts before we move along here. And I think we said, I think Endurance rose to the top last year against the group here, but what a tough group of 3-year-olds, because we've seen a few here, a bunch, but there's a few left to see down the road here in the weeks to come.
I thought, I thought I had the best horse going into the Mohawk Million, and Apex ended up passing us there. Although I didn't love the trip we got there. He had to work hard to get to the front. I had him closed up. He couldn't really see the horse coming. This year I've opened him up because he is a fighter. If he sees a horse coming, he'll fight. So, I think we are competitive with any of these horses in this division.
Well, guys, you know what they always say. They can have talent, but you can't train go and will. And if that colt's got that, that's going to go a long way.
Absolutely. And do you see that with the Captain Corys? You have a few. I mean, is that something that
I have? I had 2 3-year-olds. 2 3-year-olds. I have 2 2-year-olds. It's too early to tell on the 2-year-olds. Right. The other 3-year-old I have is nice, but she never raced last year. She had an injury. She's not like him, and I don't think any sire can consistently produce horses like him. He's the exception.
And we can't forget about Love You Gaga and that Filly Consolation and Chimpanzee Dancer in the Kentucky Sire Stakes for the 4-year-old age trotters. How do you like quickly the Filly and that Consolation, of course the Chimpanzee Dancer?
Well, she's got a nice inside draw, so I think she's set up good for a check in that race.
She's 10-1 morning line. I think we got way more to see with her. I think drawing post 2 today is going to help her a lot too.
Yeah, that 9-hole really was not good for her last week. But and Chimpanzee, I just love that horse. He's he's gotten better and better as he's gotten older. He's gotten sounder, and he's tough when he gets near the front. He just races tough. He's not clean gated. He's bumpy, but he's got the will to win races.
Chris, we're asking all of our guests today. Roy and I have already weighed in. What's your now we got it because Roy's here. He's a country guy, right? So favorite country singer. We're gonna put you on the spot. And favorite country song.
Oh my.
It can be old or new. Roy and I are old country, but if you got an, you could go to Morgan Wallen if you need to. It's okay. But what's playing in? What would be your country song you're playing right now?
Oh, jeez. I haven't listened to a lot of country lately, but
that's okay. We'll forgive you, right? Roy, we'll forgive you.
We'll give you a pass.
Give me a pass.
Okay, all right, it's a pass. That's all right. But for Roy and I, of course, he's George Strait, and I
like George Strait.
Yeah, so if the horse wins tonight, you do yourself a favor. You put on "Much Too Young to Be Feeling This Damn Old" by Garth Brooks. That was my choice. That's gonna be your celebration song for tonight.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much. I want to wish you the best of luck today. You got a lot of luck and a lot of hope going with you for their endurance. We're all going to be rooting for you, especially Roy there on the end. But stay with us. We'll be right back.
The starting gate is in motion. And they're off, and Nordic Catcher shoots out.
Change the game for the better. The best place to buy and sell horses. I've had great success. Indispensable. Since holding their first sale in 2001, OnGate.com has become harness racing's leading marketplace with over 13,500 registered users buying and selling racehorses and bloodstock through daily online auctions. Browse listings for free and buy your next racehorse at OnGate.com. OnGate, we've changed the way the business works.
HarnessRacing.com.
It's HarnessRacing.com.
HarnessRacing.com. It's HarnessRacing.com.
It's HarnessRacing.com.
HarnessRacing.com.
It's HarnessRacing.com.
It's HarnessRacing.com.
It's HarnessRacing.com.
We are athletes. We are drivers. We are caretakers. We are owners. We are trainers. We are fans. We are harness racing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the HarnessRacing.com show. I'm your host, Wendy Ross, joined by our co-host, Roy Dindris, in with us from Texas. And now we got a guy that's in with us all the way from New York. You might know this guy, right? 2025 Dan Patch Driver of the Year last year, Jason Bartlett. Jason, so nice to have you with us today. And, hey, congratulations on 12,000 that you just got earlier this week.
Yeah, thank God that's over with before we got here today.
Yeah, right? Because they would have to have a sign, and it just would have been a whole thing, right?
Going on.
It would have been. Hey, Roy, let's talk about 12,000 wins that he just eclipsed this week. But how about that 16 million in purses last year? I thought you were doing well. This guy's doing pretty well, too.
Oh, yeah. You got to tell me the secret. But 16 million, that's no easy task. And, we've been friends a long time, so I was really happy to see that.
Well, thank you.
Well,
you
talk about being friends a long time. I forgot you guys go all the way back to Rockingham, all the way up there to the main days, right?
Yeah, I mean, they used to bring Tarver Hanover.
Yeah.
To
what a great horse
Downs,
he was.
And what a great horse. I actually got to drive him a lot, and for you guys, and that's way back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day, but great horse, and now he's at the top of the game here.
Yeah, it for certainly is. And let's talk about over the last few years, Jason. You kind of said you went from racing and dominating up there at Yonkers. That's a tough group of guys up there, but you were the leading guy up there for quite a few years in a row there. And you say, hey, you teamed up with some trainers that have given you opportunities to say, hey, Jason, let's hit the road. Your sons are getting older. You've taken on some new opportunities, adding to that 16 million, and I think it's worked out.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was very, very comfortable at Yonkers, and you make a great living, 5 days a week, all year long, and I ain't got to go too far. And my passion is, I love horse racing, but I love coaching. Mm-hmm. I love coaching my kids and other people's kids, and watching them grow from second graders all the way through high school, and still I get to watch some of the kids I coached now. I just had a kid just sign with Army.
That's wonderful.
It's very exciting to watch these kids grow up and be a part of their life.
Yeah, For sure. How has the schedule, like the last 2 years, it's even more demanding now. Instead of you're staying at Yonkers, now you're hitting a lot of tracks, and you hit a lot of firsts too with Breeders' Crown.
Yep. You know, I'm not scared to work, that's for sure. And you know, when I go to do something, I got the OCD part of me is it's 110%. Like if I'm in, I'm all in. So, Yonkers has been great, but now I'm going to venture out and try to do something that I'm maybe not more as comfortable as doing, but I'm going to give it a try, and so far so good, and the trainers have been great.
One thing I think we know see these drivers is, heck, they're here today. Some of these guys are catching a plane. They got to go to the Meadowlands tonight, of course, for the big races up there. And here's the thing, the wear and tear, right? You think the drivers have the best gig in the game, which you do, but also it's a lot of wear and tear, especially with this. We've talked about the Kentucky program. We mentioned that earlier. That is really thrown in kind of a trick into things to where now you're on a plane maybe 2-3 times a day.
Like all week this week, we've all, Dexter, Yannick, we're all, Scott, trying to figure out the timing of getting us back for the Cutler tonight, what plane we can take and how far the airport is. And, I think the wear and tear on the body, I guess, it's a long 12, 14, 16-hour day, but it's the mental stuff that, when you get here, you got to be focused and focused in on what the job at hand is. So, it's my couple of my first years, so I'm just getting kind of the hang of it. But it is a lot on the mind.
He's just getting the hang of it, but I think he's doing all right.
Oh, well, yeah, I would say so. So just to a lot of people ask me, do the drivers make their own book their own planes in it, or do you guys have travel agents?
No, Yannick and Dexter, they've been using some guys, and I called in a favor today from Bob Denazzi, so who my wife and I own horses with, and he was able to get us a plane to come here today.
Nice.
So and get us back hopefully. So it's I guess it's just companies that they kind of use regularly.
Well, from talking about that, let's talk about a colt why the reason you're here today. The 2-1 morning line favorite in that $500,000 Oak Grove Trotting Derby. Spencer Hanover, a winner in his elimination, gets the rail here in the open draw. Now, I know you did the interview with Ken Weingartner. It's on US Trotting, so if you want to read about that before the colt races today, please get on that. But let's talk about even from the Breeders' Crown last year to now coming back here, how he's progressed. We were able to catch up with Marcus in the spring. He is one of our top contenders, colts. No surprise that he won last week, but I know people are saying he was in that easy elimination. Kind of tell us about the colt and what you thought last week.
He's last year, when I first got to drive him, they just said, don't sleep on him. Like, his lines don't show great. But he had a lot of talent, and Marcus expected from the word go of last year that expect good things from the colt. And then once he got to Vernon, got the pants on him, he was a lot more comfortable, more confident, and put confidence in the drivers too. When he ain't kind of got to worry about it as much. And he raced great up there both times. I mean the final, he was unbelievable. And then going into the Breeders' Crowns, we knew we had a decent shot with the right trip, and he got the right trip both weeks. So he's just a cool little horse. He just never grabs onto you, never does more than he has to. He's a very professional. Like last week, this horse is bouncing around in the infield, and I scored him down pretty hard, and then I walked him, and he just waited for me to call on him, and he just walked away. That's the first thing I told Marcus when I got to track last week was, I can't believe how much he's already matured since last year.
And when we talk about the pants on, Roy, we'll let you go ahead and talk about what he meant by that. People are like, what, he put pants on? Meaning he added the trotting hobbles,
yes.
which you don't see a lot of the Melander horses do, but this colt needed it, and that's okay, right? But this colt is why I think, talking with Marcus earlier in the spring, he said he's versatile, right? And he knew he could get around the 5/8, opposed to Apex that he opted to leave out because he's more of a big track horse. But Spencer Hanover is so versatile, and like you said, the fact that he doesn't get himself so worked up at post parade saves all that energy for the race.
Yeah, he's with the spot here today, we got the rail. He's got a lot of speed off the rail. I know a lot of people think the rail with trotters, and at times it is because they can hit a shin or something when they start switching gears. But knock on wood, he's been very good, and I can kind of dictate kind of where I want to be. Hopefully, the first eighth. I think going into the first turn is going to be where we're trying to align ourselves to where we want to be at what point.
I think with Spencer Hanover, I think we're pretty much solid on him. But let's talk about Custom, right? I think she was a little bit. She's 9-2 morning line. I feel like you're up there. Everyone's looking at Naked and Famous, draws the rail in here off of that big effort for her. But Custom didn't have the easiest trip last week to get to the winner's circle. What do you think about Custom and how she fared from post 6 today? She's probably gonna have to work for it a little bit.
Pear got her late in the fall, and she was really good. I got beat by her twice in those series there, and she just kept flying on the end. And we come back this year. We qualified her with I think twice with open bridle. And I was telling Pear when I got off the bike, I'm like, man, she's really good, but like she's just not grabbing me at all. And I feel at times like I could lose it because she's not the greatest gaited horse. From the side, she probably looks terrible. But the faster she goes, the little bit better she gets. And then we put the hood on her yet last week, and then when I scored her down, I'm like, whoa, different horse here. And the trip wasn't going as I planned, that's for sure. I was, there's some people hung on the outside, which, makes it hard to get to the outside when you're trying to drop somebody in front of you to follow them. But, it worked out in the last turn, and I didn't know she had that quick speed. I knew I had horse, but I didn't think I could get there, especially running down that horse.
Yeah, I think when you see this, you see the 1 and 52 in a piece, but people don't realize that I watch a lot of races from here, and when you're coming on the outside that far back, it's like you're spinning your wheels. So that mile was huge.
Yeah, and she was trotting faster past the wire, on the wire, than she was the whole time. So, I don't think she's the type of horse that gets tired. She's just, I don't really know much about her, to be honest with you. Just for a couple times I've sat behind her, but last week really impressed me.
Let's talk about Spencer Hanover before we let you go. A colt like him is such a dream, right? To know you have a nice, powerful 3-year-old trotting colt, even this time in the year. It wouldn't hurt to add another trophy to the case, right? Because you definitely added a couple last year.
Yeah. I mean, he'll hold a special place in my heart for the rest of my life. That's for sure. To finally get me over the top of the Breeders' Crowns, and the year I had last year to kind of top it off. And so yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a big year with him, and stays sound and stays healthy, and who knows what can happen.
Before we let you go, we got to give a good shout out to your wife, Kristen. She's kind of my agent for you. She's my go-to girl,
Yeah.
So we're so glad. I hope she's watching, and of course the boys. They're why you do it, right?
Yeah. My sons, that's why I do it, and that's kind of why I'm, venturing off a little bit now. They're a little bit bigger, so. Dad's not cool no more, so
That's okay.
they got bigger and better
cool.
things to do.
Right.
Hey, speaking of sons, do you know who's pregnant with the baby boy?
Yes,
well,
I am.
congratulations.
It's a boy too, right?
Holy boy, wow.
Thank you so
when
much.
we expecting?
September 19th, so no jug for me this year. So Emily Gaskin is actually going to be filling in at the jug for me. So we haven't made the formal announcement, but you hear it first here. But yeah, we're super excited, and we wanted a boy. So yeah,
well,
5
awesome.
months and working this full schedule. So yeah, it's been really fun. But thank you
great.
guys, I really appreciate that. Before we let you go, we're asking everybody, all of our guests, favorite country singer and country song. Now I know you're not a country guy, but give us what you're listening to on your way in today.
I'm just gonna have to go with Tim McGraw. It's our wedding song with my wife, so maybe I'll get brownie points for this.
Probably will. Well, you heard it best. There you go, Tim McGraw for Jason Bartlett. Jason, thank you so much. We know you got a great car. We know you got to go to the Meadowlands tonight, so you're a busy guy. We want to wish you safe travels around the track today and safe travels getting to New Jersey from here. But thank you so much for being with us, and best of luck.
Thank you guys for having me.
Stay with us. We are going to be joined back with Oak Grove's very own beautiful Cara Collins, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
The record-setting 2025 mixed sale from the Standardbred Horse Sales Company totaled nearly $38.6 million, with an average exceeding $55,000, including the first ever $1 million weanling and first Standardbred sale to sell 4 $1 million horses. The 2026 sale is November 2nd through the 6th. Check out theblackbook.com for all the details.
Winbag Farm of Delaware offers several outstanding stallions, including EL Platinum, full brother to multiple stakes winners EL Ideal and EL Titan, Meadowlands Pace winner He's Watching, a Dan Panch Award winner and a world record holder over multiple sized ovals, Molotov Cocktail, a New York Sire Stakes final champion and multiple stakes winner, Nutcracker Sweet, half brother to the great Sweet Blue, and a multiple stakes winner, Sports Column, a 19-time winner and a multiple Ontario Sire Stakes gold winner at 2 and 3, and Top Flight Angel, a Yonkers Trot final champion and a Breeders' Crown elimination winner. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
The HarnessRacing.com show is presented in part by OnGate.com. Selling horses every day since 2001, OnGate.com. The HarnessRacing.com show is presented in part by Winback Farm. Born to compete, raised to win, Winback Farm. Well, hello everyone and welcome back. Now we welcome in racing manager here at Oak Grove, Cara Collins. Cara, it's so nice to have you joining Roy and I today. What a great day of racing you guys have coming our way.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Welcome to Oak Grove. If I would have known that it was Cowboy Hat Day, I would have brought my own cowboy hat. I feel left out.
Well, we didn't set you up. It was just Roy, you know, he's always wearing a cowboy hat. I personally, from showing horses and things I thought it would be cool. So Roy actually provided this hat for me. So it's all Roy, but that's okay. You look beautiful. You don't need a hat. But yeah, that's why we kind of were in the Texas vibe.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Bring a little Texas to Kentucky.
Yes.
Well, one thing I'm so glad, this is my first time being here. The team and I, you guys have been so wonderful, and we're so glad to be here to highlight this great day of racing for your Oak Grove Festival of Racing.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. This has been I guess we like to say a 10-day marathon for us here between eliminations, the corgi races, all the things. We're going to wrap it up tonight with the Jake Owen concert, and golly, it is a good card today.
You could talk about corgi races, right? I mean, one thing, we come out for the harness racing, and it's so good, but people love to come out, and whether it's camels, ostriches, or dogs, love to watch them race.
Yeah, you got to bring the circus to get the crowd, right? So, I don't know, I like to have the crowd because you get one new person on the patio, and then they fall in love with the horses, right? They came for the dogs, fall in love with the horses, and then you get one more fan to help us in the industry.
Well, I'll tell you what they will fall in love with. I know I just said about the team and I how much we've loved it here, but the facility, the casino, everything is so beautiful. You guys are really doing great work down here. Opening in 2019?
Yes, 2019 was our inaugural meet. I think we opened with like 6 days. We only had the track and some bleachers we threw in a field. So
that's how it's done, right? I wouldn't mind still coming for that, really, to be honest. A good bleacher, it's fine.
Oh yeah, take us back to the old days. But I'll give you props, Oak Grove. You're doing it right because I'm a big advocate for concerts at the end of a big race day, and y'all are doing it. And I think you're going to have a big turnout for that.
Yeah. Jake Owen has been nice to work with, and I think hopefully he's going to reach a crowd that's a younger crowd that comes out for the concert, and they come out for the VIP event, and make it a social gathering, especially this close to Nashville.
So lucky that the good Lord has blessed us with a great day of sunshine and warmth here, right? We've been up there. Heck, I'm in northeastern Ohio now, but even in Ohio, it hasn't been quite as warm as it is here today. So it's going to be, 90 today?
Yeah, they're saying 89.
Oh,
so, okay. I mean, yeah, it gets warm. We've been lucky, kept a little cooler of the spring, but this time of year, it's up.
Well, I might be wearing this cowboy hat now, but I'm not going to be wearing it after the show, so don't you worry. I'm going to be right with you. Now, today we're here to cover the 2 trotting derbies for the 3-year-old Colton fillies, offering those big purses. Now, for me personally, I've covered these races every year, and I said, not these races, but the season, and I said to have those type of horse 3-year-olds ready in May is a big ask, but people have delivered, and I think you've got the turnout you were looking for.
Absolutely, yes. They've delivered. The horses are ready. The eliminations have been great. We really have had a really, really good feedback from the industry and people wanting to get their horses in. So we're just thankful that people followed through. We kind of threw a shot in the dark, gave it a chance, and here we are.
For sure. And when you put that kind of money on the line, you can go back, build it, and they will come.
Absolutely.
Oh, I never even thought about that. That is such a great concept. If you build it, they will come, and they certainly have. And just how it was open, right? Kind of like an open draw in for the eliminations and then an open draw even into the finals. So you didn't really just give the purses. You said, it's not just going to be cookie cutter. We're going on a little backside stuff to make it a little wild as well. And it's turned out that way as far as the draw for these finals.
Absolutely, yes. And my race team worked very hard to make sure that we were getting the best horses in and we were getting exactly what we needed, and I think they built a really impressive card.
So it's kind of a no-brainer thinking about it, but what were your guys' plans when you started talking about having this event last year? What were the plans and the expectations, and do you feel right now that they've been filled or even exceeded?
I am incredibly proud of what we have done. I love that you said if you build it, they will come, because I feel like I was sitting here about a year ago being like, this is never going to work. I don't know how we're going to pull this off. And somehow we're doing it. It's been amazing. Boy, I'm super excited. I think it's been taken very well from the industry. I think people are excited. I think we're going to see a lot of people on the patio supporting it. And it's only going to get better. I really believe that.
Now, when you talk about the patio for the patrons, you talked about they were going to have the country concert after the races here tonight. But what's kind of going on through the day as far as betting angles and things like that? Do you think that are going to be big highlights for either those watching or joining live today?
Yeah, so we have Ray and Pete upstairs. So we have Ray on property. Anyone that's a huge fan, he is here.
I never even knew that he wasn't on property. So this is, I knew that I didn't realize he did everything virtually.
Yes.
So that's cool. But yeah, it's cool that that you guys brought him in and he gets to be here in person today.
Yeah, and they get to mingle back and forth. I think they're actually on air now. Talking about the card and talking about the bets we have. We have some guarantees on the card, a pick six also. So we threw some new things in that we're hoping will encourage the wagering and the bettors. We also have a Nordic region pool that Churchill Downs is working with. So we're getting a lot of eyes foreign.
Yeah. And you speak of Ray and Pete. What a great dynamic those two are. You have ADHD and calm, cool, and reserved. And it's just, when I say dynamic, it's different, but it works very well.
Yeah.
And Wendy talked about the race card today. 11 races today. I think the smallest purse is 50 grand. I don't know if I've ever seen a program where there's no overnights.
That's all stakes.
All
yeah,
stakes.
It's all
and
stakes.
And that just alludes to that the Kentucky program that we've mentioned throughout the show here today, how much it's grown and how great it is. And between here, Corbin, and the Red Mile, I mean, it's really kind of, Kentucky has really stepped up and said they're going to go pound for pound with Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York. I mean, all these states it's come right in to be one of the great states like the others.
Absolutely, yeah. And we've been talking, I know, we have a stakes committee, and the commission works very hard to try and build good quality stakes and a good program, but we've made a seat at the table. So we are proud, Kentucky, to be competitive, and we love seeing horses come down here, invest in Kentucky, make their home here.
Well, we're certainly proud to be here, and we hope we know we got some great races coming that way. But before we let you go, we hate to let you go. We know you're busy, but we've been asking everyone, what's your favorite country singer and country song?
Oh my goodness.
Old or new? Roy and I are old country, so it's fine. It doesn't have to be super new. It could be even an older country.
Well, I'm kind of like indie country, right? So I really like Tyler Braden. Probably y'all may or may not have heard of him. But yeah, he has a really good song called Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
I don't know.
She's like more of like the rock country. Like, okay, I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
Roy's George Strait. He's old, the king.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants to just sing you an old country love song if you let him. But for me, I was, I loved a couple of the older guys too. But for me, and my favorite song was Much Too Young to Be Feeling This Damn Old. And what was your song?
Yes,
The Cowboy Rides Away.
The Cowboy Rides Away.
Yeah.
So anyways, but speaking of dynamic, Roy doesn't even know, before we go to break here, that he's doing pretty good at this gig. We're going to keep him wrapped up here. I think for the rest of the show. I think we're going to do it.
I agree.
Cara,
this could be a long-term thing.
Cara, thank you so much for stopping by. We know you're busy. Hats off to you and Oak Grove for putting together such a great program of racing. We got those two big derbies coming up in races 10 and 11. Make sure you stay with us. Cara's going to be busy all day, but you stay with us. We're going to be right back with Cheyenne Christman to pick some winners and get through that late pick 4 ticket. Be right back.
The record-setting 2025 mixed sale from the Standardbred Horse Sales Company totaled nearly $38.6 million, with an average exceeding $55,000, including the first ever $1 million weanling and first Standardbred sale to sell 4 $1 million horses. The 2026 sale is November 2nd through the 6th. Check out theblackbook.com for all the details.
Winback Farm of Canada is home to 9 outstanding stallions, including Metro-based champion Captain's Quarters, who's new in 2026. Beach Glass, winner of the Meadowlands Pace and the last great son of Some Beach Somewhere. His first yearling crop sells in 2026. Lawless Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner and Meadowlands Pace champion, whose first crop sells in 2026. The Great McWicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history, and two-time O'Brien Award winner Tattoo Artist, a winner on every size track with many stakes and track records. Also standing Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line, My MVP, and Trixton. For more information, it's winbackfarm.com.
The starting gate is in motion.
Nordic catcher shoots out.
Change the game for the better. The best place to buy and sell horses. I've had great success. Indispensable. Since holding their first sale in 2001, OnGate.com has become harness racing's leading marketplace with over 13,500 registered users buying and selling racehorses and bloodstock through daily online auctions. Browse listings for free and buy your next racehorse at OnGate.com. OnGate, we've changed the way the business works.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the HarnessRacing.com show. I'm your host, Wendy Ross, joined by my co-host, Roy Dinges. And also now we welcome in our USTA's very own Cheyenne Christman. Cheyenne, you were behind the camera, but now you're in front of the camera. You got a lot of hats here that you're wearing, helping with the show today.
Well, as a saying, it's the jack of all trades, master at none, right? But I'm happy to be here with you, Wendy. Talk about a little bit of a full circle moment for me. I remember, a couple years ago watching the interviews you did for the Hambletonian contenders and watching you interview Quattro de Julio. Now I get to sit with you on the desk. I get to work with you. It's just such a full circle moment, and I'm just honored to be here.
Well, we're certainly in, and the honor's all mine, doll, to have you sit next to us, and we're so glad to have you a part of our U.S. Trotting team. You do a lot of work, and we're glad, and we're also glad as you've taken on some new roles at U.S. Trotting. Now, you're here today to help us pick some best bets, some long shots, and get through that pick 4 ticket, but also you've taken on a new role here with us, going along with the strategic wagering program.
Yes, so to explain what the strategic wagering program is, it's basically a partnership between U.S. Trotting and the tracks to provide some wagers of the day, if you will, or wagers of the week. The wager of the week we have this week is going to be this late pick 4. It kicks off here in race 8 for Oak Grove, a $20,000 guarantee. So lots to look forward today, as well as some other races going on tonight across the United States.
Now we talk about you're doing your duties behind the camera, but you've been doing some things at the Meadowlands as well, and you love doing that. You like doing the handicapping stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like being able to analyze the horses and give my opinions on them. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but as we always say, these are horses, they're not machines, right? You never know what can happen, and but I feel pretty confident in this pick 4 sequence, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm gonna give a shout out to your mom because I know she's watching. Hey mom, look, she made it. All right, guys, we're gonna start with Roy. We're gonna get some best bets and some long shots of the day. Roy, let's go ahead and start with you with that best bet.
I'm going with race 11, number 6, Endurance. This horse has just been absolutely dominant. The Mohawk Million last year as a 2-year-old, that was a dogfight right to the wire between him and Apex, and he has come back superb. So I look for a big effort today. Now, my long shot of the day, I'm going with my brother, Delray Beach, in the second race. He is a long shot, and he's come back as a 4-year-old. I think he's, I don't know what happened last race, but I'm expecting better today. And when the money is up, my brother's got him ready.
Well, he knows you're in town. He wants to get your winners. He wants to get to winners, so get your picture taken too, right?
Yeah.
Cheyenne, go ahead with you, babe. Best bet and long shot.
All right, so best bet's going to start here in race 8, post 7, Yo Tilly. Of course, was dominant all year last year. That Dan Patch, 3-year-old filly trotter of the year. She's looking for her 3rd win in a row, and it has hit the board in winning-wise, 24 of 26. There's just no way you can go wrong here. It's post 7. I don't think it's going to be an issue. If you're not necessarily feeling confident, maybe use Win Pansy, but I don't think that's an issue. That's my single for my pick 4, but also, too, my best bet. Also, with my value play, it's going to be in race 6, post 4, Stranger in the Night. Do I think you're getting 10-1? No. I'm hoping this one goes off at second to third choice. You're getting that 3-1, or you're getting maybe 9-2. It just depends on how Lafitte and Handsome Stranger, how the betting public bets those horses. So that's my value play for the night.
Well, definitely your best bet. You're going to be 6-5, so you're playing it safe there, Cheyenne. I know it's your first time on the show, so good call by you. Well played. For me, best bet's going to be race 2. I'm going to go against Roy here. I'm going to go higher ground from the rail here. Congratulations, trainer Mike Hitchcock, who picked up his 2000th career training win just the other day there at Scioto Downs. This 4-year-old here comes in with David Miller, with the absence of David Miller, unfortunately. We're going to pick up Dexter Dunn. We're going to get the rail. He's going to draw inside again. I think this horse here, 27 on the one. 27-1 on the end of it. He's a 5-time winner this year already. I think we pick up Dex. Dex is going to do exactly what Dexter does and gets him to the winner's circle. Long shot play of me is going to go all the way to race 10 there. Is Carve. And, it's interesting because you're looking at that in that Oak Grove Trotting Derby there. There's a couple other fillies in there, but Carve is another one in there for Noel Daly. Of course, he has the favorite, Naked and Famous, from the rail in there. Andrew McCarthy's going to drive her, gets back in the bike because he wasn't there, didn't qualify her there, but she was third there, beat 8.5, but I feel like Carve, you're going to get her, she's 6-1 morning line. You're probably going to get even a little more than that when they go behind the gate. So for me, the long shot is Carve. Don't overlook her in the fillies because, like we said, 3-year-old trotting fillies, you just never know what to expect if they're going to come back week to week. But, of course, the heavy favorite in there is Naked and Afraid. Now, let's keep it rolling into that late pick 4 action with the $20,000 guarantee. Cheyenne, as you mentioned there just a few seconds ago, starting in race 8. Roy, go ahead. You can go first.
So I'm going with the 3-7 in the pick 4. Yo Tilly, obviously, you got to put her in there. I do think she's vulnerable. I mean,
oh, wow.
I really do. Even though she has been, ones across the page, just watching her race. I mean, not to take anything away, but I think she is vulnerable.
But do you agree that maybe she does, with her, she necessarily doesn't win by a lot. She just wins by what she needs to win by.
Exactly, and I'm not arguing that, and I totally agree with you because there's been many horses that do the same thing. Triple Crown winner, Paula Wellwood.
Marion Marauder.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he won
Marauder.
a Triple Crown by,
It's
this
not.
year.
It doesn't show how much you won by on the check, right?
Exactly,
It shows
yeah.
that that one. That's for sure. Go ahead, Roy.
And
Move
then
on to that second leg.
We'll go to the 9th race. I have 3-5-9. I mean, it's kind of an unorthodox bet, but I want a little price in there, so that's what I went with. I can't really tell you. I side more with the 9, but you have the outside there. So let's go to race 10. 1 and 6. Oh, Naked and Famous. We mentioned that filly earlier in the day. I mean, she was just dominant comeback. And the 6 Custom, I mean, just class. You have ones all down the page. So I think that's a stone cold exacta right there. And my best bet of the day, number 6.
Singles in the last. He's
Single in the last.
leg.
Yeah. I don't cover myself.
If you guys haven't figured it out, Roy really likes endurance today, singles, so he's going with endurance. So for you, Roy, who's your pick in the fillies in the race 10? And then we know you like endurance in the 11, but who's your pick to win race 10?
You know what? I'm going with Custom.
Okay.
That's who I'm going with because Jason, like I said, that race from last week when he came from the back, that doesn't show how good that filly really was.
Okay, so there you have it. So Roy in the Philly Derby is going with Custom, and then, of course, endurance for the Colts in the last race today. Cheyenne, go ahead. Give us that pick 4.
Going to start off here with race 8. We've kind of discussed heavily about Yo Tilly, so I'll just skip that one. Then I move on here to race 9 as I go 4 deep. I'm going to mainly just focus here on 2 horses. I'm going to focus on Chris Beaver's trainee, Love You Gaga. You get the inside draw here. Made up a lot of ground in her LM to be 5th. I think, this is only her 4th lifetime start. The more she races, the better she's going to get. Has definitely a good shot here. I did leave off, out the window and decided to use Country Glide instead. Between the 2, as they were kind of dueling it down the stretch, I just liked Country Glide's performance better, so that's why I left that one off my ticket. But I also want to focus on Wish Upon a Star here as well. It's just been very consistent. You see the ones down the page, and it had to move around a Fading Atlantic Summer last time out. Had to come first over, and you get a better draw here, so I think that's going to help as well. So leg 2, I go 1, 2, 3, and 9. Then I move on to race 10, starting off with the number 1 at Naked and Famous. Then I'm going to talk a little bit more about Set Your Sights High. This is a trainee who just has a quick turn of foot for Vernon Beachy, and it's just a very, very nice filly. Last time out, they decided to have the blinders on. No, not blinders, excuse me. The cups. They had the cups on her, and they also had the ear hood on her. They're going to change her a little bit this time around. They're going to switch over to the cheek pieces with a line pull. She has a lot of speed. I just think they're trying to figure her out just because she does get a little hot sometimes. But I think with the draw to the inside, Ronnie Wren is just such a talented driver, knows how to just keep him calm during the post parade. I think she can be a serious factor in here, as well as set your sights high. As you know, we saw her last year just be so dominant and consistent. So for me, in that third leg, it's going to be 1, 3, and 8. Then I finalize my final leg here, going with the 3 AI and the 6 Endurance. Leaving Spencer Hanover off of my ticket may be a little bit of a bold choice. But the thing is, though, he did win fairly easily, but you have to consider the fact half that field did make a break. So I'm just curious to see what the strategy is going to be here with Spencer Hanover, especially from that rail spot. I really like AI in this spot as well, just because he was just kind of like right there with Endurance last time out. So that is going to be the final leg for me for that pick.
Well, I'm glad I let you guys do all the heavy lifting. I'm going to keep it easy. I'm going to stick with the 7. I'm going to single Yo Tilly. I'm not going to have tomatoes being thrown at me from Toddy and Andrew. That's for sure. For me, the single there, Yo Tilly, the one to beat. Moving into the second leg, 1, 2, 3 in there for me. Decreed, Love You Gaga, Wish Upon a Stardeo. I think they're the ones to beat in there. Moving on to that third leg, I think it's hard to overlook Naked and Famous. 1, 4, 8 for me. I did mention Carve as my long shot play of the day, so I think we're going to give her a nod in there. And of course, the 8, Set Your Sights High. Of course, I did leave off Custom. Probably could be regretting that. I certainly don't hope so. But 1, 4, 8, and they moving into that final and fourth leg for me, go with the 1, Spencer Hanover, who's going to be my pick, I think, to take the whole thing over Endurance. Sorry, Roy, don't be sad, don't be mad at me. So it's 1, 6, but don't forget about the 9. I mentioned him earlier, Silverstein. Scotty Z, the money man, picks up the drive here for trainer Matt Burkholder. This colt can leave the gate, even from post 9. He's competitive and he's gritty and he likes to win. Don't leave him off. I think we're going to get a little bit of a price. Your 8-1 morning line. I don't think you're going to see that when they go behind the gate. He's not going to be a little shorter than that, but that colt deserves a look. So for me, that wraps it up for me, 1, 6, 9. So guys, I think we gave a lot of options there, a lot of good information. So I hope everyone caught that. Now, Cheyenne, before we let you go, we're so glad you could stop by. I know I prepared you for this. I didn't prepare anybody else. I feel bad, actually. But I did prepare her favorite country singer and country song.
Gotta say my favorite country singer is Reba McEntire. That's mainly just because my mom, growing up, she would sing me my favorite song, which is Fancy. It was just something I would hear from her all the time. She would just sing it to me in the car all the time. So that's my favorite country singer and favorite country song.
Okay, that's pretty good. I didn't even mention Reba. How could we leave Reba off? It's almost a sin.
She's a queen.
It is the queen. We got the king with George Strait. We should have mentioned Reba. But I know we so hope that you've enjoyed the show today, and that's how we got you with your bets and everything like that. We've got a lot of great racing coming your way here from Oak Grove to celebrate the Oak Grove Festival of Racing and the Preakness later on today. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Big thank you, Roy, for you being with us today. You did a heck of a job, my friend.
Well, thank you. You made it easy.
We're going to have talks after this. I think we're having you back. I think it'll be, I made it easy. Well, thank you so much. Cheyenne, and thank you so much for being with us. But most of all, thank you to our sponsors today, our generous sponsors. We're so glad to have them, the Standardbred Horse Sales Company, Winback Farms, the Hambletonian Society, and On Gate. You can see the HarnessRacing.com show again Thursday, June 11th, as we tackle the Pepsi North America Cup. We're talking about 3-year-old trotters today. We're talking about 3-year-old pacing colts as we get up there into Canada. So what a great group of those we have coming your way as well. So we wish you the best of luck today. We hope you enjoy it. Until next time, I'm Wendy Ross, Roy Dinges, Cheyenne Christman. Thanks for watching.